exclusive look at the inside pages now. And as you can see here, Dame Judi Dench has also intervened with ongoing royal Netflix row, with The Sun reporting on an open letter that she wrote to The Times accusing the Crown of crude sensationalism and calling for change out of respect for the royal family and the nation. The penultimate season has faced a tidal wave of criticism, including from former Prime Minister John Major, calling the series a barrel load of nonsense. Well, joining me now is talkTV's royal editor, Sarah Hewson. Sarah, just to explain what's going on here, Judi Dench has written basically asking Netflix, I think, to rein it in. Has she done that with the permission of the King?
She says no.
Right.
She says no. This is a very strongly worded letter from a hugely respected figure, not just in the entertainment industry, but in British life generally. And she's joined Sir John Major and the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Lord Carey, in calling for Netflix to pull back. She is very concerned over what she describes as inaccurate and a hurtful account of history. She says it's cruelly unjust to the individuals involved and damaging to the institution of the monarchy. And she says the closer the drama comes to our present times, the more freely it seems willing to blur the lines between historical accuracy and crude sensationalism. And she makes the point that while many will recognise it as brilliant entertainment and fiction, she's concerned that there will be a proportion and a significant number of viewers, particularly overseas, who will take this as being a true representation of events. And in particular, she highlights the suggestions that are apparently made in the upcoming series that the now King, then Prince Charles, approaches Sir John Major, who was the Prime Minister at the time of the alleged conversation, and plots for his mother to abdicate. And another conversation where he is seen in the series as suggesting that the Queen's parenting was so bad she should have ended up in jail, deserving a jail sentence. And Dame Judi Dench points these out as being particularly unjust. She says no one's a greater believer in artistic freedom than she is, but this cannot go unchallenged. So she's played two queens on screen, but she also has a close relationship with the royal family. She's a friend of the King and the Queen Consort. She was picked to be ambassador of the Queen's Green Canopy project for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, but she does say that she's done this off her own back.
But do we believe that, though? Because it does seem a very strongly worded letter, and I'm struggling really to understand why exactly she feels so strongly about it, I suppose, if she doesn't have the permission of the King.
There are a lot of friends of the King and Queen who are coming out and saying this. Jonathan Dimbleby, Charles's biographer and friend, also described this as being nonsense on stilts. Sir John Major also has a close relationship with the royal family. He was appointed special guardian to William and Harry after their mother's death. There are a lot of people now coming out and saying this is enough. Buckingham Palace can't really be seen to be commenting, and so others are. Whether or not that's done with permission, they're saying not. She is, as you say, calling for a disclaimer. She's by no means the first. Series 4, the then Culture Secretary, Oliver Dowden, called for a disclaimer on every episode. That was rejected by Netflix at the time. It has rejected it again now. It has issued a statement describing this as fictional dramatisation. But Judi Dench imploring them, she says, for the sake of a family and a nation so recently bereaved, and as a mark of respect to a sovereign who served her people so dutifully for 70 years. And then she sticks the knife in and says, and for Netflix to preserve its own reputation in the eyes of British subscribers. As I said, it's resisted the pressure so far, but whether this is a tipping point, we'll have to wait and see.
Let's just take a quick look, because we've now got this story in The Times. Let's have a look at that. So you can see it there, show respect to the Queen and say the Crown is only fiction. A Times exclusive, of course, that letter published tomorrow in The Times newspaper. I mean, you touched on it there, but how realistic do you think it is that Netflix will offer any kind of disclaimer now?
It's really hard to say, Kate, and I'm not 100% clear why it's been resisted all along, because if they're prepared to put out a statement saying it's a fictional dramatisation, what harm does it do to put a disclaimer on each episode? We see it. It's common in historical drama to see things, you know, this is some events have been recreated for dramatic purposes, for example. I'm not sure whether this will push that. There were stories earlier this week that Netflix was getting really rattled, and so rattled that potentially was thinking about pushing Harry and Meghan's documentary series into next year. That's now been denied. Peter Morgan, the creator of The Crown, said to have been traumatised by the backlash to this. Those on the set said to be concerned about some of the insensitivities. So we will have to wait and see. It comes out on November the 9th, and in what form, whether there'll be a disclaimer,
we'll be watching. Sarah Hewson, thank you so much.